The Cowboys' Dez Bryant has a very different stance when it comes to players protesting. Bryant tweeting this, "Bruh, it's the wrong place and time to be talking about that. I care about my black people. At the same time, I have a family and I got to feed my family." Max, I'll start with you. What's your reaction to Dez Bryant's protest comments?
It actually makes me sad because it's unclear from what he's saying that, what he really believes. Now, in fact, it suggests, if you read into it, it suggests that maybe he does sympathize with the viewpoint of those who are protesting, and the only reason he's not protesting with them, or the primary reason, is that he doesn't want to affect his bottom line. Stephen A. was just pointing it out. That is clearly what is dissuading more people from truly speaking their mind. Their personal interests, including their business interests. Of course, we all take those things into consideration, and the question is, when is the principle, when is the cause great enough to compel someone to act, even if it's not in their best business interests? And here Dez seems to be suggesting that, this will mess with my business too much. I don't want those problems. Not, I don't agree with them, but maybe I do, and I'm being dissuaded by financial pressure, and that's messed up.
Without getting too deep into some of these issues, let me be very, very clear. If you look at the history of the civil rights movement, for example, there are an abundance of people who found themselves involved in a situation, and history ultimately taught us they were chosen individuals because everybody wasn't the right person to make that argument and to fight that fight. When we look at Jackie Robinson, for example, who you just brought up, Max, a little while ago, there were others that could have been picked before him as the first Negro to play in Major League Baseball, to integrate Major League Baseball. But Branch Rickey chose him. Wasn't just because of his game, it was because of his demeanor, it was because of his temperament, it was because of his relatively unblemished past, and all those things came with it. He was easily sellable, marketable to the masses, thereby highlighting the racism and the prejudice and the unconscionable venom that was aimed in his direction. Had he been somebody with a bad temper, ready to haul off and knock somebody out or do a bevy of other things, he would have authenticated or validated the points of those haters out there who didn't want the sport integrated. So it was very calculating on the part of Branch Rickey to go to the direction of Jackie Robinson as opposed to others. Fast forward to Dez Bryant. Certainly not comparing him to Jackie Robinson, don't get me wrong, but look at his past. Look at some of the things that he has been maligned about. His upbringing, his associations, the kind of things he got himself into back from his days in college to the first few years that he was in the National Football League. If he suddenly takes a knee and brings that kind of attention to himself, now we have a situation where you have an abundance of folks outside of the African American community looking at that dude and saying, I'm done. This dude of all people with his checkered past has the audacity to sit up there and snub his nose at our flag, at our national anthem, blah, 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 blah. This is what they will say. And what he is saying is, acknowledging tacitly or otherwise, is that he is ill-equipped to be that individual that takes such a principled stance, because there are times in his past when no one would confuse him with being quote unquote principled. If you know that about yourself, I respect his right, based on his experiences, to fall back and leave that fight to others, because he ain't the one to step forward and make that fight. Colin Kaepernick might be, with his past, which is unblemished, with his intellect, with his knowledge about situations, with his ability to articulate his position and elocute his position. I definitely think that's apropos. But with somebody like Dez Bryant, I respect the fact that he knows his limits and ain't trying to step beyond it.